answers.
Back here with Mike Vick. We'll talk some Lamar in a second, but first an amazing alley-oop. Lonzo, long-distance lob to Zion. Look at that. Nick, how unstoppable is that?
Oh, well, listen, it's a perfect pass by Lonzo, and Zion, despite all the chicken littles in the media, oh my God, look at his weight. Looks like he can still jump pretty high. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm not an expert on this, but it looks like he still has pretty good explosion off the court. Lonzo had a rough game, but that was a perfect pass and a great finish by Zion.
Well, just to interrupt you, Nick, you are an expert on it. Remember, you broke your wrist one time trying to dunk a tennis ball in college, which is why you could dunk.
No, that's not.
But Zion also that's the story. You broke your forearm. Broke your forearm. Zion, we can deal with it later in the show. Zion needs to work on this. Mike, this is still a rookie move. If we can run Sean Kemp, how you're supposed to hang off the rim, watch this. You got to go all the way around about 270 degrees perfect. Zion's getting caught a little bit, so in addition to getting healthy, you got to work and hanging on the rim, swinging all the way around.
I don't think that rim would hold it, though, Wilds.
See, there we go. You know. Why? Because he's not in shape?
Good point.
Big guy.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of the perfect pass, this time, Lonzo, no, she's not, Nick. Lonzo finds Drew Holiday for the long-distance assist. Mike Vick, good to see Lonzo playing a little quarterback out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a dime. I mean, Lonzo dropped the dime right in there, and he was able to finish it. That's what made it a play, the finish.
And Wilds, you see there.
Talk about Lonzo anymore. Go ahead.
Because he hadn't been great. But you see there, that's what I'm talking about LeBron trying to avoid. Those entanglements under the basket. That could have been bad for Drew Holiday. One guy falls, he trips into him.
I know,
that ain't good. You got to be careful there. That's how guys get hurt.
It's a bad spot for you. You're going to have LeBron load managing. You're going to rip Kawhi in the A block and then applaud LeBron in the B block for doing the same thing.
They clinched the one seed. They clinched the one seed. Speaking of LeBron,
we got to move on. Ben Simmons, guys, to Matisse Thybulle in the corner with the over-the-head pass. Nick, like they always say, if you can't shoot, pass.
Oh my God.
Well, again, just all this shade from Jenna for guys that are doing great things. It's a perfect pass by Ben Simmons. Yeah, the Sixers won. It's an amazing play by Ben Simmons.
They
Rookie
barely won.
Known for his
Ben
defense.
Simmons still isn't shooting.
Barely.
Okay, again, like I said, all this shade from Jenna. I'm going to celebrate Ben Simmons' great play there. That was a great pass that I don't know how I guess he saw him when he was coming down the lane.
All right, on to a block party, gentlemen. Check out Nerlens Noel rising up to deny Bobo at the rim. Not often someone can deny Bobo of anything. Nick, how does your guy with a 7'8" wingspan get blocked somehow?
Well, Nerlens Noel, after bouncing around the league, turning down a contract he should have accepted, costing himself some money. He's found a nice home in Denver. He's been critical for them as as they try to get a top 3 seed in the West. Mike, I like Nerlens. I liked him coming out of Kentucky. I like what he does defensively. I think he's an important piece, a little toughness for that Nuggets team. I think he's
Yeah.
Look at that.
I think Nerlens plays for the Thunder.
Little playoff
Oh, the
proof.
Thunder. My apologies.
Lamar
Thank
Jackson.
you,
That's why we confused us all.
No, that's my
Lamar
apologies.
Jackson
You're
might
totally
have
right.
taken
Bad job by
home
me.
All right, we're going to switch gears completely. It's in the past. Lamar Jackson took home MVP honors last season. Wasn't enough to satisfy the Ravens quarterback, who saw his season cut short by the Titans. Hey, it was an early playoff exit for Lamar for the second straight year. How much does that bother him? Well, it bothers him a lot, apparently. This from Lamar this week. I think about it a lot. To be honest with you, that's where I want to be. That's when everything gets crucial. It's tough because it's win or go home. I'm tired of going home. I just can't wait to get back in that same spot and perform at a whole other level. Nick, he's still young, Lamar Jackson, entering his 3rd year in the league, but coming off an MVP season, how much pressure should Lamar Jackson feel to lead the Ravens on a deep playoff run heading into this season?
Well, he's got to win a playoff game. And this is a time where you become a victim of your own success to a degree because he's started less than 30 games in the NFL. But when you take a team that's dead in the water in your rookie year and lead them to the playoffs, and then you have the worst game of your career up to that point in the playoffs, and then you follow that up by leading a team to a 14-2 record-breaking season. You're the unanimous league MVP, and then you have your worst game of the year in that playoff game. You start the game off with a pick. You throw a back-breaking pick at the end. You get stuffed on a couple 4th and 1s. The Wolves are going to be at the gate for him, Wildes, because a lot of people Lamar has proven them wrong. And folks hate admitting they're wrong. People hate being wrong. I'm going to be bothered by the fact that I accidentally just said Nerlens Noel was on the Nuggets instead of the Thunder for the next 3 weeks. And so, I mean, much less give an opinion. No, it's going to kill me. All my analysis worked except for the fact that I said the wrong team. But it's not the point. So, folks crushed Lamar coming into the league. So they don't want to give him his due. And Wildes, if he has another great regular season and then falls flat in the playoffs, people are going to annihilate him. He knows that. And so there is immense pressure on him. They don't have to win the Super Bowl, but he has to have a really good game in the playoffs and win a playoff game, or else there's going to be this but attached to him until that changes.
Yeah, you know whose fault this is? It's a little bit of your fault in the Kansas City Chiefs, Nick. If Patrick Mahomes didn't win the Super Bowl, I feel like Lamar is able to take a breath and be like, look, we're just young quarterbacks. We're trying to figure it out. So, Mike, the question I have to you is, if you're buying the Mahomes parallel, was there a guy that you judged yourself against in the league? And if that person had success, did you internalize that, and did that put more pressure on you?
Well, it put more pressure on you to go out and win a playoff game, because you watch those who come before you. You see them make it to the postseason. You see what it's like. You see the atmosphere, and it's like, man, that's where I want to end up. Nick said something that was very true. You can become a victim of your own success. My second year, we was able to put a pile of wins together throughout the season, and we found ourselves in the playoffs in Green Bay, and we beat Green Bay in the playoffs. And from there, I just thought that playoff success would come year in and year out. I did win the game in 2004, but you get used to that success. So I see what happened to Lamar in the regular season. Things came so easy, that he thought it was going to be a walk in the park come playoff time. But that's when you got to step it up. That's when things get magnified and amplified. You got to be ready for those moments, man. And I know why he's itching to get back out there, because you only get one shot. It's one and done in the playoffs, and it's something that'll haunt you for the entire year. So I know what those seasons felt like when we didn't make the playoffs because you wanted to make it so bad. And then when you put together, such a stellar season, you want to cap it off with something great. But this is the thing that Lamar can hang his hat on. After Patrick Mahomes won the MVP, he followed it up with a Super Bowl. High expectations, but it's something to use as a tool, to get to where you need to go for this season.
And then he followed the Super Bowl up with a $500 million contract, which if Lamar follows that, if the Ravens win the Super Bowl, Lamar will be able, if he wants it, he'll get the contract Mahomes got. Like, if he wants it, if they win the Super Bowl, he absolutely has no reason not to ask for that same exact deal, and the Ravens would give it to him. So there's that internal pressure. But, Mike, I want to kick it back to you for a second, because you and Lamar get talked about alongside each other a lot. But what I was talking about with there being a certain, almost cottage industry of not just fans, but some media members that seem to be waiting for him to fail. I felt similarly with you. Folks that just said, you got to win from the pocket. You have to win this style of quarterbacking. Did you feel that? Did you feel like there was almost it's never going to be enough unless I do win the Super Bowl to prove to these folks you can win a different style of quarterbacking?
Yeah, because I came into the game playing a different style of quarterbacking. Like you said, I heard all types of whispers and noise all around me that this style wouldn't last. So constantly I was trying to prove that this style could last and could win football games. So everything I was doing, the motivation was coming from a lot of different places, but I think the main source was just from the media, from the fans, from the crowd, from people who, felt like that, I couldn't last 16 games. And a majority of the time I didn't last 16, but I was there for, at least 90% of the season. But yeah, it's unfair that, you got to continuously prove yourself in all areas, from your style of play to, the way you go out and play the game and how you go out and make things happen from a competent level. It's just all types of pressures that you have to deal with as a quarterback, especially when you look different, when you play different. But it's all a part of it, and it made the game more exciting to me. It made me, put more time and effort into my craft, and it brought out the best out of me, so to speak.
Mike, I think what you said about living up to those expectations, especially coming out of school, is so important. I want to bring up an old tweet of yours from back in 2016 when Lamar was still at Louisville. You wrote, Lamar is 5 times better than I was at Virginia Tech. Enough said. You saw this coming when Lamar was in college. He's 2 seasons now under his belt, coming off an MVP year. Do you think he's lived up